Hello, and welcome. My name is Roman, and this is my series. The middle ground is above us. Um, I decided to come up with this podcast series, video journal, to comment on current economic policies, political policies, political theory, and see how we can bridge the gap. um, there's so many identity politics between conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican, constitutionalist, that I've created this term called a progressive libertarian, and it's I believe it's two terms that are very popular with both the right and left, a progressive and a libertarian. And through this series, I hope to show how in the future we can get to this through quality economics, quality political theory, and how technology can really bridge the gap between our divisive times right now. To give you a little backstory, like I said, my name is Roman. I was born in a small country post-Soviet Union called the Republic of Moldova, or Moldovia. I immigrated to America with my family when I was about 7 years old. I came to St. Louis, Missouri, where I attended Ladue Horn-Watkins. Ended up graduating from Ladue and going to the University of Missouri, where I got my degrees in economics, political science, international studies, and Russian. Kind of cheated on the Russian because I was already fluent in it. After college, I realized, I was always meant to be a serial entrepreneur. I started a taco stand in college. I went on to have a successful insurance agency after working for a tax office in New Orleans, Louisiana. Ended up furthering my career in insurance. I currently hold life insurance, health insurance, property and casualty insurance licenses, basically all the insurance licenses you can hold. I have financial designations. I still have my P10, which allows me to do taxes for individuals and businesses. So over the course of my life, I've always been interested in investing and looking for the next opportunity. I currently manage a capital fund called Best Choice Capital. It's a diversified fund with Forex, equities, precious metals, and vacation rental properties. So I want to speak today about the term progressive libertarian and kind of what I believe that means, and why I believe more people should embrace the philosophy. A progressive, let's define the term progressive. A progressive is somebody that wants to see advancement, believes in the future, believes that in the fundamental principles of America, which is to strive for a more perfect union. That means it's never perfect, but we should always move towards that, move forward. How do we better ourselves as a society? I love libertarian mindset as well. The libertarian mindset centers around personal choice, a voluntary participation, consent, things such as you are a product of your own self-determination, that your skills are valued on a free market. Your speech is valued. Your labor constitutes yourself as a person. And I believe in that principle for every individual. We need to remain deterministic. We need to remain self-fulfilled. We need to have always a sense of purpose and a sense of where we as an individual belong in the world, and more so than just a cog in the machine. Which is why I love the libertarian movement and why I love the libertarian philosophy, and why I've decided that the best way to move forward would be to bridge these philosophies together. Now, the way I want to break up my show is first talk to you about the overall theme, beginning of it. Then we're gonna dive into economics, sidestep to politics, and jump forward on how we can put these things together. So let me first talk to you about the economic policies of a progressive libertarian. And it starts with the root, and that's the theory of money. Now, money is something that is a hypothetical construct. It is simply a medium of exchange. It is only what we believe to hold value for other goods and services, other things we want to buy. A lot of people say like marijuana, weed, can be associated with money. An eighth is worth $20-$30. You can exchange that eighth to buy a t-shirt from somebody that's willing to smoke that weed. The way that we get past this is money is universally accepted. And then the way that governments legitimize it is they accept it as payment for taxes. So they issue taxes. They only accept dollar bills as taxes. That way, everybody barters with dollars. Nobody's out there trading chickens for horses, even though the barter system still works. Money is a replacement for that barter system. The same thing that we have this revolution in cryptocurrency, where cryptocurrency is only valued because other people are accepting and paying and taking that cryptocurrency. And that is why the cryptocurrency has value, because other people are willing to use it. So they will take it in exchange for your chicken or your t-shirt or anything that you're selling. So the theory of money doesn't reach enough people. And we can't get past the dollars and the dollars in the sense of the economy. The way that you allow everybody to participate, the way that you get a progressive agenda, a libertarian agenda inserted in money, and is by allowing for cryptocurrency, allowing for more ways of a medium of exchange, allowing for anybody to trade any amount of money, and have a central system that allows regulation. It would be wonderful if I can go into my local store and just pay in yen, pay in rubles, pay in anything that I want. And you can't do that because I live in America. When I go to vacation in Mexico, I have to exchange my money for pesos. Even though they do accept dollars, everybody accepts dollars. That's the wonderful part about being in America. But when you go to places like Japan and China, they want you to use their currency. Wouldn't it just be wonderful that we can have an onslaught of different currencies: Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Ripple, all the other coins that you can think of. Maybe in the future, with Libra, Visa coin, or Amazon comes out with their own cryptocurrency. It will be wonderful to be able to use any of those currencies you want at any time. It is on your distributed ledger. It is in the blockchain technology. It has value. The value fluctuates, but the dollar fluctuates. The Chinese yen is artificially fluctuated. So we should not be limited in the currency that we can use. All currency that has intrinsic value. If you want to trade in gold, if you want to trade in anything, you should be able to do so. And we should have a formal market that regulates this currency the same way that we have a forex market, the same way that investors can trade pesos for reals and then for rubles and take advantage of the micro decisions and volatility of the forex market. We should be able to do that on an individual scale. Libertarians should demand that we be able to trade our money freely, any money that we want, the same way that we can trade a chicken for a hammer, for a set of tools, for another thing. There's an infinite amount of things. And now with technology, we have an infinite amount of payment mechanisms. The next part I want to talk about in economics is the theory of voluntary participation, the theory of consent. And I believe that progressives need to champion consent, that I consent to doing this work. I consent to having this sexual relationship, sexual encounter. I consent to my information, to my face, to my everything, to anything, to my words, to my thoughts. I consent. Progressives need to champion the word consent because it fits into the libertarian mindset of voluntary participation. We can hold our labor, we can hold ourselves and not do anything and just relax, have mental days, mental health days, or we can voluntarily provide our time, our labor, in exchange for goods and services, money, anything that you want, to be able to bargain on an individual level. I believe the future of work will be entirely made up of independent contractors that have a base of healthcare, education, and transportation, broadband internet, Wi-Fi, have a base access to all of that. Not have to worry about mobility. Because with voluntary participation, with 100% consent, you can be free to move across the nation. You should be able to go from California to New York, from New York to Florida, if that is where your labor is most needed. Imagine a movie set. Imagine filming a movie. You get a director, you get a producer, you get several producers, cameraman, OP, you get the actors, you get the grips, you get the editors, the CGI. Everybody comes together to form this movie. They put it out, people enjoy it, people consume it, people pay for it. Everybody gets paid out of that movie set. I currently hold a Scrum Master certification, a way for agile environments, businesses, and developers, a group of people, to be able to have self-determination come up with their own timeline, goals, individually in relation to the overall solution. Now, Scrum Master, I know this is a new term for a lot of people, but I do believe it is the way to organize future workforces. You can do it remotely. You can do it in a conference room. You can do it transitionally, where somebody comes in for a couple days out of the week, they stay home for the majority of the time, or they come in for most of the time, but then they can also get work done at home, because it's always up to the individual to set their own guidelines within the framework of the overall goal. So the theory of voluntary participation needs to be echoed, both through the progressive movement and the libertarian movement, that we are self-deterministic. Sure. And the progressive side of me says the basis, the entry barriers to labor, is what needs to be covered. Now, I believe that there are 4 main entry barriers to labor, and that the government should play a role in, because the free market doesn't always have the best results in adverse selection environments, in which people don't always make the right moral choice. And the profits from the exploitation of people is greater than the common good that can be created. So these are the 4 areas that I believe that do need some form of government assistance, government regulation, because the sheer scope is large, and we must get to a point where we eliminate entry barriers to labor for the individual. The first one is a very popular one, talked a lot about the Democratic candidates, since Bill Clinton, since Nixon, since the Great Society, healthcare. We need a place, whether you're progressive, whether you're libertarian, whether you're whatever denomination you want to associate yourself with, healthcare and the ability to be healthy and not fear crippling sickness and injury to remove you from the workforce has to be overcome. We cannot hinder ourselves and pay exorbitant amount of our capital that we take our time and volunteer our labor for and accumulate the capital. A giant portion of that is going to ensuring that we don't get sick and we don't suffer from injury. That should be in today's world, it should be a non-starter, a non-complaint. We should all be healthy enough. We should all be free from injury to be able to work, to go to work. That should not be a hindrance on our thoughts, a hindrance on our lifestyles. Not only how do I afford for the insurance to pay for that, but even quality insurance. If you have a catastrophic, or you even have a minor incident where you have to use the hospital, you have to use the facilities, you can still be out hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not millions of dollars. I worked in an insurance field for 4+ years. I owned a health insurance brokerage where I worked with the state, the federal government, public schools, hospitals, small businesses. Health insurance hinders so many people in such a broad way. So we have to eliminate the health insurance off of the backs of people. You have to be confident that you're healthy enough, that some unexpected accident isn't just going to cause you a lifetime of debt. That's number one, health insurance. Number two, education. I know a lot of people talking about free college. A lot of people are talking about free tuition and board. I'm just here to say that education matters. Whether that's affordable education, free education. I have 4 degrees from the University of Missouri, and I graduated with about $20,000 in debt. Not that much. I worked while I was in college. I made payments. I qualified for scholarships. I kept up with those scholarships. I qualified for Pell Grants because my family was not in a great situation throughout my childhood. The ways that we can get out of it is there. After graduating college and making some money in the insurance industry, I was able to pay off my college debt. But not everybody's fortunate, and I understand not everybody's fortunate, and not everybody fits into the category that I fit into. Not everybody gets a Pell Grant. A lot of people in the middle class don't qualify for FAFSA. A lot of people that do qualify for FAFSA don't have the grades to go to the institutions. It's a system where it's designed to punish a certain amount of people and reward a very few. We hear all these scandals about college admission scandals, or just these outrageously wealthy people are buying their way into prestigious institutions. Well, this is nothing new. This is something that's been happening for the lifetime of college institutions, and it's something that will continue to happen unless we address the problem that the theory of money should not matter in higher levels of education and skill building. If you want to be a welder, if you want to be an electrician, if you want to be an HVAC, if you want to be an art history appreciator, if you want to acquire these skills and if you want to educate yourself, you are always giving your time to earn that skill. You are sacrificing that opportunity cost, that you can be doing something else, that you can be putting your time into acquiring capital. You are investing that time in acquiring that skill to be able to go on and go on society. And as a society, we need to encourage that. We need to encourage more skill building. We need to encourage more education. We need to encourage more interest in education, more interest in seeking a new skill, in bettering the world, in retraining yourself. Why do we put this hurdle that not only am I sacrificing my time, opportunity cost, that I could be earning capital somewhere else, but I'm also investing further capital? It's not just benefiting myself, but benefiting society. And as society as a whole, we should acknowledge that. We should acknowledge that one of the entry barriers to labor is the skills to perform the job. And we should be robust in providing the skills for the job, whatever job it may be. The markets can determine the job. I am not in the profession of determining everybody's job. Neither should the institutions. Neither should anybody. But you should be free to be able to choose the skill in which you want to pursue. You want to pursue being a massage therapist. You want to pursue being a doctor. You want to pursue being a historian. You should be able to do that at the cost of your time. Simply it. Now, how we deal with the back end issues of the debt's already there. We can freeze interest rates. We can let people declare bankruptcy. There's very easy tax solutions to allow these people to get out of debt much faster than the current situation that we're in. But moving forward, progressing in society, we have to encourage each other to acquire new skills. Always. Like I said, I just got my Scrum Master certification about a year ago to help deal with tech companies and help deal with the new work environment and see what I'm investing in. I maintain my insurance licenses. Every 2 years I do the continuing education. I'm always looking for another thing to do. I'm getting ready to earn a coding proficiency license for a 6-month program. Want to get my CFA. I'm studying for the first part. I'm always having goals to advance my education, advance my learning, advance my understanding of the world, and how acquiring those skills can really help me in life. Not just acquiring more capital, but gaining more freedom. And I paid $1,200 for the Scrum Master certification. It was a 2-day class. $1,200. Here you go. Thank you for the piece of paper. But it did give me insight. And that piece of paper does legitimize the fact that I went through the course. But it's a barrier that we shouldn't need. We shouldn't need these barriers to education. We shouldn't need these barriers to acquiring skills. So that's number 2. Healthcare number 1, education number 2. What's the first thing they ask you when applying for a job? Do you have reliable transportation? Those 3 things to start off. Healthcare, education, transportation. We are going through a transportation revolution right now. Self-driving cars are here. They're not around the corner. They're here. You can purchase a self-driving car today. We're living in crazy times. Why we have not been investing in transportation is beyond idiocy. It's beyond stupid. It is the worst thing that we could have been doing with our money. America's been pissing the money away on foreign wars, ultra tax cuts, and entitlement spending. It's ridiculous how much money we spend on worthless entitlement programs that just keep people where they're at instead of helping them move up. It's amazing how much money we're spending on tax cuts for people that don't pay it to begin with. And it's amazing how much money we've spent on military, being the world police, maintaining the world police. How we could have not put that money in infrastructure and transportation is simply criminal. We have to have a mobile workforce. We have to have, as a person, as an individual, I should be able to get into a plane, a car, a train, with majority or my things or anything, and be able to move across country at a relatively affordable price. If not completely no cost to me. I understand, pay a little extra to fly a plane, but our technology needs to move us forward into transportation. We need to have a robust system where in the future, drones powered by electricity, running on renewable fuel, can pick us up from our doorstep, take us to the closest hub, and then from there, a bullet light